Here we are in the post office. These letters have gone undelivered for so long. Can it be that they may hold the answer you seek? Well, I'll find that out. Here we are in the post office. All right, I have emptied the box of old letters into the table in the basement. You're welcome to look through them and see if there is anything important. Now remember, this is highly unusual. We at the Quick Post do not advocate looking through people's mails, but these letters are so old there should be no harm in it. Well, there is a point with that. This way. Post boxes, mail bags, little things. Mind your steps. These can be treacherous if you're not used to them. Yes, I can imagine. Well, I've been through a lot of steps that are even worse. Oh, yes, we are more organized than we seem, I assure you. Well, I hope so. And here we are at the basement of the post office. All right, the letters are there for you. I will return in a few minutes. Ah, letters. Let's see, what does this say? A forgotten letter. Dear Mr. Cleary, I hope I am not intruding, but I wish to write you this note of thanks. I had a delightful visit with you, and I am already looking forward to ours of next week. As I promised, I will bring some fresh produce from my father's garden. You will not believe the crunch of our carrots. They are truly something. When next I visit, I will help you clear the weeds out of your own garden. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but I find gardening to be very rewarding. Very sincerely yours, Ivy Redsmith. All right. Interesting. Most interesting. And what do we have here? Dear Mr. Cleary, thank you once again for another lovely visit. I hope you don't feel too badly about what your neighbors have been saying. They seem a poor lot, mean-spirited and unwelcoming. Pay no heed to their insults, and I will not either. Looking forward to our next visit. Ivy Redsmith. I wonder if these are all from Ivy Redsmith. Quite a correspondence. What do we have here? Another Ivy Redsmith letter, I presume? Dear Mr. Cleary, this winter has been very bad, hasn't it? I am sorry to tell you, the weather must keep me home. I cannot visit this week. But I promise to bring you some soap and towels when next we meet. I will scrub away the mean things your neighbors wrote on the fence in no time. Warm regards, even in the cold. Ivy Redsmith. So it's the neighbors then who must have wrote down Eerie Acres then, I presume. So it already had an eerie reputation back then, I guess. Dear Mr. Cleary, has it already been 2 months? I cannot believe it, but I know it is so. I have never seen snow like this. It began as a winter's lark, but now I'm sorry I have not been able to visit. There's no sign of the weather's improvement, and my family's worries deepen every day. I promise I will see you as soon as the winter ends. Waiting to see the sun again. Ivy Redsmith. Is this during the fell winter then? That's a possibility. What does this say? Dear Mr. Cleary, they say this terrible winter might soon be done, though they have said that before. I hope this time they are right, for it has taken its toll on my family and on my friends. Our food is nearly gone. They say it will be a time of famine unless something can be done. Do you think I am being forward? But I'm worried for you, Halson. Your home was in no state to weather such a winter as we have had. I hope your neighbors at last showed you kindness. Could they have given you shelter, shared their food, and found warmth in their hearts for you? I hope they have. They would be cruel hobbits indeed if they have not. Are my letters being delivered? I have had no word from you more than a year, Halson. You could not possibly have stayed in your home this whole time. Could you? Worried, hungry, and afraid for you. Your dear friend, Ivy Redsmith. That's the last of them. Quite a tale. What did you find out from those letters, Petronella? Did you learn anything of use? Yes, I looked at the letters from Ivy Redsmith to Halson Clearly, and apparently, was this the fell winter? These letters are indeed very old. It seems that Ivy and Halson lived during the time of the not the fell winter, long winter, which gripped the Shire more than 250 years ago. That winter was the longest ever recorded, and it was followed by the Days of Dearth, a period of famine and unhappiness, the like of which has never been seen again. It is said that many hobbits died during that winter, and the food shortage that followed. I hope that fate did not befall to Ivy or Halson, but if there is no further letters, it seems likely that they came to sad ends. I wonder why these letters were never delivered. The hobbits of the Quick Post must have had their hands full just trying to survive the long winter. But still, I would have expected them to make an effort. At least before it became clear the winter was worse than usual. It does strike me as somewhat odd that the letters that predate the snows were not delivered. Well, that is a strange one. Because yes, some of those letters do predate the snows. Have you gotten to the bottom of this mystery? It seems to me that we have only uncovered more questions. That was quite a sad tale.
How rude!
It is highly unusual for letters such as those to have not been delivered, Petronella. We run a respectable post here, and I would have said we always have done. But those undelivered letters seem to have cast some doubt on it, to my shame and that of my predecessors. Why would those letters not be delivered? At any rate, we do not keep records of home ownership at the Quick Post, but there is a small chance that someone might know the state of the Cleary farmhouse, even if knowledge of its one-time residents has been lost during the ensuing years. That was so long ago. I speak of Clem Underhill, the escrow broker here in Meckler-Delving. He may know if the deed of the Cleary farms had ever changed hands, and if the land was sold, he might tell you the name of the current owners, if there is one. Well, I suspect the current owner, well, are, let's see, Clem Underhill. Ah, there seems to be quite a queue for him at the moment. Hello there, Mr. Underhill. I'm trying to trace the ownership of a house that used to be owned by a Mr. Clearly.
Hello.
The Clearly farmstead, you say? Oh, that goes back quite a long way. Almost 300 years, if I remember right. The records from those days are rather incomplete, but there is a deed for a parcel of land in that name. It is a wooded lot, yes? I have had no cause to go out there, but the description makes it sound quite deep in the forest. Near Walrick Goldworthy's new cleared field of Wismead, isn't it? Yes, most definitely. And that is an interesting coincidence, since the field has only recently been put to use after being left alone for so long. There have been no transactions relating to that parcel, so I expect if it was owned by a Clearly once, then it must be owned by a Clearly still. A descendant, surely, although that is a long time for anyone to stay in one place without interacting with his neighbors. That is no way to live, not for any respectable hobbit at least. It must do you some harm, surely, to see only the faces of your family and no others. And if you live by yourself, with no kin around you, why, imagine it! And who would take care of you and your twilight days, until finally your last day arrives and you meet it all alone? Maybe it's just this time of the year, but thinking about this sends a chill down my spine and raises the hairs on my feet. Sounds like a spooky harvest festival story to me, and not something that could happen to real folk in the Shire. I cannot say that I like it, Petronella. I hope I was a help to you, and now I could think to like to no more than these troubling thoughts. Yes, all right. Thank you very much. I think it's time for me to head back to Bingo. It's a long story, but the gist of it is that the owner, Mr. Clearly, probably starved here around the time of the long winter. Ah, at last you've come back. Fosco yelled at me again, and this time he had the support of several of his brothers. This is so unlike them. What did you learn? Did you find out everything about Clearly's acres? Yes. It all makes sense to me now. The special vision you saw in the Bimbo Woods must be related in some way to Houston Cleary. And somehow he managed to put a curse on the Shire. None but one will laugh when all is done. That must be referred to the ghost of Houston Cleary, scorned and forgotten by all his neighbors. In fact, that may well be why the Boffin boys are so uncharacteristically angry. The ghostly haunt has affected them without their knowing, and the close proximity of Wistmead and the Cleary farm has inflamed their tempers. Are you up for another adventure, Petronella? I have the perfect hobbit in mind to go with you. Let me guess. Marigold. Who else? Who else? I presume you mean Marigold? If there is a specter haunting the Cleary farmstead, you need to be prepared to weather some frightening apparitions, Petronella. Who better to take with you than my cousin, Denotus? He is not frightened of anything, and will be best suited to adventure with you through the misty forest to the Eerie acres, no matter what the haunt brings. He would disbelieve a ghost right in its face, and I think his clear head might be the secret of dispelling the curse. I will not hear another word about it. Find Denotus at the fire here in Westmead, and I look forward to the successful Oh, good grief. Denotus? Oh, this is gonna end in a disaster, isn't it? Hello. How would you like to go visit a haunted farm? What's going on, Petronella? Why do you have that look on your face? Yes, well, Bingo has an idea that a ghost is responsible for the haunting of Westmead, and he wants you to travel with me to the Cleary farm to dispel the curse. You're serious, aren't you? No, Petronella! Is there no way to get out of this? I shared my secret to you in confidence. I do not fear nothing. I fear everything. But if I tell Cousin Bingo the truth, he will know my secret, and I will be revealed as a liar. But if I do not tell him, I will have to brave the spooky forest and risk the ghostly curse. Oh, this is terrible. There's nothing for it, I suppose. The path is foggy. So, you should pick up this torch and use it to light the way. I'll be right behind you. But I'm not happy about this. Not happy about this at all. Not happy about this at all. Well, that I can understand. Where will the mist lead? We'll find that out in the next episode of The Ballad of Bingo Boffin.